Okay.
All right, hold on whenever you're ready.
Okay.
All right, 1 second.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Controversies of the Day. I'm your old buddy Jay, and it is mid-March 2025. You know, a little while after the president's inauguration, there was some interesting shows that were out there, and I just took note of those, talked with my producer. We're going to share some clips here a little bit as we go into today's show here. I'm a big fan of Patrick Bet-David. Let me just say that first and foremost. I think he definitely has a lot of value with Valuetainment. They do like great work. I've never met the guy. I would love to meet the guy. I almost feel like we're kindred spirits. Our producer Logan and I feel like, you know, we're like brothers from a different mother with this guy. I mean, like, we just, you know, he talks about things that we're interested in, and we'll talk about something. Then also a week later, he's doing that same topic, and so we feel some kind of crazy synchronicity with this guy. I don't know. It's a good show. I like his group, a panel of different guys he has on. He brings in a lot of very interesting guests. I give some of the people even credit for going on there. I'm surprised that former Congressman Anthony Weiner went on that show. I'm surprised Chris Cuomo is going on that show. But I think whoever goes on that show, I think they get more than a fair shake, and they are polite, and they do bring up, you know, real topics of concern. Well, Ian Bremmer was on there recently, and it just seems to me, again, this is one man's opinion, that Ian was just a bit of an apologist, would you say, perhaps for the World Economic Forum, for Klaus Schwab, for the establishment in general, almost. And I thought Pat asked Ian a lot of direct questions, just reasonable questions, and Ian seemed to get uncomfortable and seemed to backpedal a few times, and he got a little animated. But let's take a little look here at some of this recent exchange between Ian Bremmer and Patrick Bet-David on Valuetainment.
Months with a guy that writes books
That's a
professionally
little
for a
weird.
living. I don't
listen,
buy it.
I can ask a question and say that's a little weird. You don't think that's a little weird?
No.
Really? You don't think that's a little weird?
Christ, man. No.
A
you're a smart guy.
No, I am-
and
I am a smart guy, and I
don't
ask
go
questions.
Don't go into deep zone. Deep part of the pool
I think,
on this.
okay, so let me go to a different direction with this one.
I'm telling you that if you
Rahm
actually,
Emanuel,
if you
Rahm
next
Emanuel.
next year say yes to the WEF,
Yeah.
and you go and spend the entire week and actually see all the meetings, you'll come away saying, yeah, it's a conference.
Rahm Emanuel, you know who he is?
I know him well, yeah.
Okay, he said never let a crisis go to waste.
Yes, he did say that.
Do you think
Always
they
smart.
saw COVID as a crisis to use? Do you think the World Economic Forum maybe saw this as an opportunity to really impose their beliefs around the world?
A nonprofit organization of 600 people, most of whom last for 2 years and then go on and work someplace else? No! No! People said that about the Council on Foreign Relations. The council is like a tiny, sleepy nonprofit. And why? And they are the most bureaucratic organization. It's so hard to get things done. And they're nice people. And they're smart people, but they don't run the world. And so the people that run the world are the people that are worth hundreds of billions of dollars, that are directly in meetings with world leaders where they can actually take real advantage of those meetings
What do you
because
think
they can
here, folks? I don't know. I mean, Ian's something else. First of all, the CFR. By the way, folks, you don't have to be a conspiratorialist if you don't want to be or whatever. But the Council on Foreign Relations is an organization that was put together by a lot of business and banking elites. And basically, at least since the 1920s, they have had members in every. Wait, what did I say? No. This isn't theories and who's behind the grassy knoll and did we really go to the. No. This is fact. Since the 1920s, at least, every presidential administration. That's right. We have an R or a D or whatever. They've all been in every presidential administration. They've all been there in various posts in the executive branch of our government. Many people in Congress have also been members of the CFR. Now, don't get me wrong, folks. CFR, and who knows, maybe the World Economic Forum, like Ian's alluding to, maybe as I've talked about on the show and Logan's talked about in there in the past, it's like a triangle, okay? Look at this thing, okay? And they might be kind of on that wide bottom, okay, because they've got several members. I think one time the Council on Foreign Relations, I don't know, I have no idea how many members they have today. Late 80s, I know they had about 4,000 members. So they allow the media in for that, just so you understand. Some exclusive groups, Bohemian Grove, for example, I don't think they do allow any media in, or that's a new thing if they do. And as you go up, these groups, they're smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, who's at the apex? I don't know. Some people, there's a thing called Illuminati. I don't know. There was an Illuminati for sure with a guy named Adam Weishaupt or whatever in Bavaria, a few centuries ago, whatever. But what we know for sure is, there is an establishment, there is a pecking order, and it's real. So anyway, I thought it was a little fun to watch Ian Brennan. Pat gave him some stuff, and he kind of put him in a corner a little bit, and Ian got so animated that, oh, Jesus Christ, Pat. Oh, you're a smart guy. Oh. Ian. Okay. Oh, so a little fun and games there. I guess Pat was even invited to Davos. Wait, what? Yeah, Pat was actually invited to the World Economic Forum. He didn't go. He said he had something else going on. So kind of interesting. And Pat, of course, has written a book, a fictional book about a guy who gets invited into some big elite organization. So, sometimes art and, reality kind of, cross over, and fantasy and reality become one. Who knows? Interesting stuff out there. We'll keep our eye on Ian Bremmer, and of course, definitely we're big fans here of Patrick Bet-David and his whole crew. There was another strange thing that I want to bring to everyone's attention. Okay, now again, when we talk Donald Trump on here, look, we have been very supportive. Okay, we want to be behind the president all the way. But, when the president does things, or you see something that looks a little funny, I think the president's comments about Gaza and moving all these people out and building a bunch of hotels just sounds like pure fiction to me. I don't know. It'd be beautiful if you could get it done, hard to believe that could happen without American military might and a bunch of American money. But that aside, let's talk about a little more Davos again. Back to the World Economic Forum. So they had a big get-together, basically right after President Trump was elected. I think it was in the last week of January or so of 2025. And this gentleman here, we're going to show here, Mark Benioff. I'm not sure how he says his last name. He's a Salesforce CEO, smart guy. I'm not sure what to make of Mark. I think he's one of those people you need to keep an eye on. There's a long list of the nouveau riche, the new rich, which we need to keep an eye on. It's not just Elon Musk, and he's one of them. Don't get me wrong. Peter Thiel's one of them. I've brought up Alex Karp on the show here many times. He's the Palantir CEO. But also, and don't forget Sam Altman or Larry Ellison either. Larry's been around for a while. But Mark Benioff, he's one that, I don't know, we gotta keep an eye on this guy. So he's talking with CNBC, and the CNBC guy, he's under my impression that Donald Trump and Klaus Schwab maybe aren't friends and have conflicting philosophies. But then, I don't know, Mark seems to have a little bit of a different view. Can we take a look at that real quick here? Mark Benioff.
And that's what's incredible. And then you see that right here play out at the administration. These are the leaders of all the most important companies. They're all Americans.
One of the reasons I so desperately wanted to talk to you this year specifically here in Davos is, so many of the things that emanated here that you and I have talked about over the years that related around things like ESG and climate and other things. I think it's fair to say that Davos, man, is under attack. Meaning those ideas, the vibe shift is different.
Well, first of all, I don't agree. So number one, obviously Donald Trump and Klaus Schwab, who's the head of the World Economic Forum, are very close friends. Klaus Schwab and Donald Trump, they have a lot of time for each other.
Right.
And you're going to see Donald Trump here at this conference virtually, and I'm sure you're going to see him here next year physically. And he was here when he was president, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And I think that, you probably remember that I worked very hard on the Trillion Tree Initiative. It's an idea that I had. I brought it
here
with Donald Trump. I launched it here. And I think you have to find your way with Donald Trump on the things that he cares about. And one of the things that he cares about is actually things like trees, oceans, air. If you listen to what he says and you focus on those things, you can make a lot of
Well,
progress.
Let's talk AI.
I don't know, folks. What do you think? What do you think, everybody here? I mean, is this something? Is this nothing? It's hard to say. And as we have alluded to before, there's a thing attributed to the Italian American Mafia, but I think it may go back to the ancient book, The Art of War by Sun Tzu. The whole, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. We always got to keep that in mind too. And Donald Trump, obviously, he definitely, if he didn't know it before, he knows it now. Definitely in his first term, he was surrounded by a lot of people that did not have his best interest in mind. So who knows? And maybe they're all just playing each other. Maybe the Salesforce CEO here, like what Zuckerberg and Bezos and others, maybe they're all just getting in line. Like, okay, he won. Let's just all get in line here, and we'll do our thing. And then, of course, he'll be gone after 4 years, and then maybe we'll go back to doing things in a different way. Who knows how they all see things? But I just wanted to share that with everybody and bring that to everybody's attention. I was a little disturbed by that. And if you don't know who Klaus Schwab is or the World Economic Forum, I do think you definitely should make yourself a little bit more aware. Let me just say that in general. Allegedly, Klaus is stepping down and someone else is going to be stepping up. But Klaus is not going to go away completely. And some say he's a protege of old Hank. That's right, Henry Kissinger, who was a big puppet for the Rockefeller family. So anyway, Hank's gone, but his protege here, Klaus Schwab, lives on. All right. Well, did you see Donald Trump and a guy named Volodymyr Zelensky? Did you see that? Was that good? Was that good TV or what? But Donald even said that. Well, this will be good TV. Oh my God, it was. Wow, was that something else? I mean, that was some crazy stuff. Maybe we'll get some footage of that for you sometime. At one point, J.D. Vance is trying to come in, and I don't know if him and Trump are trying to play good cop, bad cop. I don't know. And then Trump's got to he's got to separate Vladimir and JD a little bit there and play dad, and oh gosh, that was good stuff. And then Donald Trump gets a State of the Union. They technically call this something else this time because he's coming in as president again or something, and next year they'll call the State of the Union. Anyway, that's not important, but he did good. I thought the president did good. I mean, I always get nervous with politicians when they do this, putting the cart before the horse kind of thing. I like, do it, get it done, and then we can praise you and you can brag. And, I always get a little nervous with that. He was talking about the new golden age of America. Well, I hope he's right. I'm still worried about a lot of things, folks. Plenty to worry about. And just because we haven't talked about the fourth turning for a while doesn't mean we won't, and doesn't mean that all that's gone away and cleared up. So anyway, having said that, I thought it was a pretty good State of the Union. He was funny with the Democrats, and they were just really rude and obnoxious. They had their little signs hold up. I don't know what they said, lies or liar, or save Medicare or whatever. And then, of course, somebody just had a grandstand with his cane up there from some district in Texas. Al Green, no, not the great singer. Let's stay together. No, not that Al. No, this is a goofball Al from some district in Texas. I don't know. I like Texas, but you got a few people there. Al Green and Jasmine Crockett too. We talk about that crazy little lady. You're so pretty girl, but you're sassy and I like it. But just come on. Everything that comes out of your mouth is pretty dumb. So Jasmine Crockett and Al Green, maybe they need to go with Marjorie Greene Taylor and Nancy Mace, and they just need to get together and just go bowling, have a few drinks, and just go bowling sometime. I don't know what's going to straighten this country out, but hopefully that will. Lots of interesting things coming up down the pike we'll be talking about here. The Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. Well, this was interesting. A lot of people thought Bitcoin was going to pop when they had this conference, and it really didn't. So I don't know. It's off its highs for the year. We'll see what happens here. There are still a lot of Bitcoin bulls out there. I'm not telling you to do anything. Tom Lee, he's on CNBC a lot. Oscar Carboni, he's got his own little website. These are Bitcoin bulls. Some people think Bitcoin is going to 120,000 in the next 6 months. I don't know, folks. It could crash to zero. Keep that in mind with any of those kind of crazy investments like that. All right, so it's very interesting. We'll see what happens with the gold, the Fort Knox situation. That's also extremely curious and could at least temporarily rattle the markets. So that's very interesting. All that's coming up. Maybe next time we'll talk about another Ian. Is it Ian Carroll? A lot of Ians coming up for some reason today. Ian Carroll was recently on Joe Rogan. So for all the conspiracy kooks like me and my buddy Logan, like, you know, it was just like, oh, it was a great thing. So we'll talk more about that and so much more coming up. China, of course, with the tariffs, they're rattling the sabers a little bit. Hopefully the president knows what he's doing here and he's playing, big game of chess with these tariffs. And hopefully we're going to work everything out and get better trade deals for all the countries, especially for the American worker. So we'll be talking about that in future shows, all that and so much more. Again, as always, thank you all for tuning in and giving us a listen. Please tell a friend. Please hit subscribe. Please hit the like button and watch us here on YouTube and on Rumble. And again, have a great day and a pleasant tomorrow. All righty.